Why is Lindsey Graham, 25 days out from ballots going out, galloping in and saying we need a federal abortion ban? Really, where have you been, Lindsey Graham?
It's rare for me to say that something happening in politics is my favorite, but this is my favorite. Conservatives panicking over voters knowing who conservatives are and what they represent. After literally decades, nearly 50 years of attempting to dismantle and succeeding in dismantling reproductive rights for women, Republican candidates, Republican lawmakers are now running away from the issue because it turns out that most Americans do not want to strip women of their bodily autonomy. They don't want the government to get involved in these incredibly personal and intimate decisions. And so rather than campaigning on this massive victory that took them 50 years to accomplish, they're running away from it and even going after Senator Lindsey Graham pretty aggressively. Because just yesterday, he proposed a federal abortion ban that would ban abortions after 15 weeks. Now, the likelihood of that passing it's not going to pass. That just wouldn't pass. And so what we're seeing is this effort to hide the fact that Lindsey Graham would promote this, push this, or that Republicans would even want this. Let's hear a little more from Charlie Kirk, and then we'll go to you, John.
That feels like election interference. And I say this as someone who is so pro-life. I would love a total abortion ban. 15 weeks is not enough, but I'm also not dumb. 25 days out from ballots going out, the Democrats are applauding. Thank you, Lindsey Graham, for making this issue about abortion. They're enthusiastic that Lindsey Graham is now making this all about the one issue Democrats actually can win suburban women on. I wish that wasn't the case. I wish that the country was as pro-life as I am.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, but it turns out the country isn't as pro-life as you are. In fact, a Kaiser Family Foundation poll from last month showed that 61% of Americans do not want to do away with reproductive rights for women. They don't want the government involved. Other polls actually showed an even higher percentage, about two-thirds of Americans not wanting the government involved. And I'm not surprised by that. I mean, of course. But John, is this election interference? Is Lindsey Graham proposing a conservative policy that Republicans have been fighting for 50 years? Is that election meddling? Is that what's happening right now?
Well, look, the difference between me and, for instance, Charlie Kirk is that I'm physically capable of empathy. And so I understand how annoying it would be for him to do this. Not just that he would do it, but to do it knowing it can't pass. That's like the part of it that I love the most, like that he's screwing them over. And it can't succeed. So that's amazing. I absolutely love it. It is funny, though, that like he says, I wish the country was as pro-life as me. I wish they wanted a full abortion ban, but they don't. Now, notice he's still going to try to make it happen. All of them are. The only reason they're mad at Graham is that he's doing this right now. Not that they're doing it. They want a full ban. They know that it's not popular. They know that people don't want it, and they will immediately jump in it if through one of the many ways that our political system is manipulated and rigged and structurally opposed to democracy, they can get the power to do it. That's how they got Roe v. Wade. All he's saying there is we need to be loyal to each other in deceiving the American people about what we want and what we intend to do. We totally want this, but we need to fool these people that we have no respect for whatsoever to make them think that we're not insane radicals just long enough for us to take power, and then we can do the thing that we're lying to them about right now.
No,
it's very transparent.
It is incredible. You know, I applaud Charlie Kirk for the first time ever in how candid and transparent he is. This might be the first time he has told the truth, because what he's saying here is, hey, dummy, Lindsey Graham, we're supposed to be lying to people, okay? The midterms are coming up. And I appreciate it. I really do. And he's not the only one. So Roger Stone also has some thoughts about Lindsey Graham's proposal, saying Lindsey Graham is purposely helping the Democrats to ensure that we do not take back the U.S. Senate. He's purposely doing it. Lindsey Graham, famous leftist, you know, engaging in this mass conspiracy to ensure that Republicans lose. Yeah, sure. Okay. And Stone continues to say, this federal election is about our safety, security, health, food supply, economy, free speech, and the corruption of our justice system unless RINOs and Democrats try to make it about federal abortion policy, which the U.S. Supreme Court made unnecessary. Listen, I have no love for Roger Stone, and I don't see any redeeming qualities with this guy. But I will say in the 1990s, he went on the record as supportive of reproductive rights. He also has a little bit of a salacious scandal in his past involving swinging and stuff. So I don't know if that had something to do with.
So that part's cool, but
I don't know if that had something to do with his more liberal views with abortion. But I do want to go to one more video before I go to you, John, and that's Marjorie Greene. Marjorie Greene, of all people, trying to pretend like Republicans aren't trying to ban abortion. Let's watch.
They believe the way to drive people to the polls is by scaring them. They're lying to women all over America saying that they can't have an abortion anymore, which that's a lie. There's plenty of places that women can easily get an abortion.
No, I mean, they're just trying to scare you and say that we're banning abortion. That's not true. You could still get an abortion totally. Yeah, I mean, if you're living in the middle of the country, if you're living in a red state, you have to spend literally thousands of dollars to travel out of state and pay for that abortion. But nonetheless, let's just pretend like Republicans didn't create that situation in the first place.
Yeah, 100%. Apologies. Apparently my mic is loud. We'll fix it in one of the breaks. But anyway, yeah. Why are people freaking out? Why are they pretending that we're for this thing that we're totally for? We've been on the record for 50 years. This is literally the only thing that millions of our voters actually care about. We have chosen people for the Supreme Court exclusively to accomplish this goal. As soon as it happened, we cheered for 72 hours, then realized that people hate us and they think that we're crazy radicals. So now we need to pretend that we don't care. And what are you even complaining about? You can still get abortions in the places that we haven't successfully stripped it away from at the state level yet. We're trying in many states. They just did it in West Virginia. In state after state, they're pushing for it. Now, thankfully, in places like Kansas, the people overrode it. But like, she is lying in so many different directions simultaneously. She wants a federal ban. All of them do. Every single one of them. They are lying about it being a states' rights issue. That's not at all true. And in the states, it's not like, oh, we got what we wanted and now the status quo is good. No, they want to strip it away at the state level if they can't do it at the federal level. So all of this is utter dishonesty. They understand fundamentally that the people don't support their positions. Obviously, they're anti-democratic. They don't care about that. And for many of them, there's an extra layer of dishonesty. So for Roger Stone, he said the fact that the Supreme Court made it stripped away the protections means that it's unnecessary, implying that he is happy with the status quo. What you said was that he gave some indication he was pro-choice earlier on. Charlie Kirk talking about how I'm totally pro-life. I want to ban everywhere. I think he's perfectly happy for it to be banned everywhere because he believes that women are at best second-class citizens. But the idea that these guys care, they don't care. Charlie Kirk isn't being paid by millionaires and billionaires to do what he thinks passes as a show because he's really just driven by the spirit of evangelical Christianity. And he can't take the injustice of he doesn't care about any of that. This is about money. He is cosplaying being a pro-lifer, as so many of them are. Now, someone like Marjorie Greene, she's a legitimate psychopath. She might actually believe some of these things. I don't doubt that some of them do. But for many of them, especially these men, it is a way to control people, especially women, in pursuit of economic goals that are always going to be far more important to them.
1,000%. Now, I leave you with one more video, and it is someone I didn't expect to go on the record because he's been particularly horrendous when it comes to stripping women of their bodily autonomy, and that's Matt Walsh. Let's watch.
It's almost like he wants Republicans to lose. That's the conspiracy theory that I would actually subscribe to here. He wants Republicans to lose. This is sabotage. It's the only way to explain it. Given who it's coming from, especially. It's one thing if this is coming from someone in Congress who's just been deeply pro-life, a pro-life activist for years, and this has been their number one issue. And so they, you know, and this is all they talk. This is one of their central things they talk about all the time. And you know, they're just so excited about it that they maybe put the cart before the horse a little bit and came out and proposed this right before the midterms. That would be one thing. Now, I'd still say it's a bad political strategy, but then at least I could believe that it's sincere.
It's incredible because even Matt Walsh, who couldn't shut up about how happy he was, how giddy he was at women being stripped of their rights, is now turning around and scolding Lindsey Graham for doing what Lindsey Graham is supposed to do as a Republican lawmaker. But again, it's all about tricking voters. It's all about hiding the fact that they, on one hand, purport to be in favor of freedom, individual liberty. On the other hand, want to control the lives and bodies of women in this country. That is what the reality is. They support unpopular policies. They will push through unpopular policies, even if their own voters don't want them. They just want to make sure they do it in a way that is strategic for them and doesn't hurt them when elections are coming up. That's what's really going on.
Yeah.
And it's just an incredible